So till yesterday, or in the yesterday's class, we have seen about date functions. Okay. So before class, day before yesterday, we have seen about numeric functions and string functions. Okay. So basically, these are all kind of row level functions. Okay, because whatever the function that we are going to apply, that will be applied for each and every row in the table. Okay, that is the reason we will call them as row level functions. Okay, now the one more type of functions are group level functions. Okay, so these group level functions are also important. Okay, so these group level functions will execute group by group. So whatever the table data set that we have, so as per the query mentioned, so it is going to form a group first. So each and every group, it is going to give one record. Okay, so group by group, it is going to execute the function, whatever we are going to apply. So that function will be applied on top of a group. It will segregate the entire data set into multiple groups. Each group, the function will be applied on each group. Okay, the function will be applied on every group. So to differentiate or to form a group, as we are telling that group level functions are going to be applied group by group. First, we should know how this group is going to form. How this group is going to form, on which basis this group is going to form. So to identify that, we have a group by class. Okay, so whatever the columns in the table are, we are going to specify in the group by class. With those column combination, it is going to form number of groups. Okay, so in the entire data set, first it will form the groups based on the columns which are defined in the group by class. Once the columns are defined in the group by class, once it is going to form the group, on top of it, these functions are going to be applied. So group level functions are sum, max, min, average, count. These are the group level functions. Okay. Now these group level functions, whenever we wanted to use these group level functions, for sure we should have a group by class. Okay. If you don't have any group by class, and if you apply this group level function, it will take this entire table data set as a single group. It will take entire table data set as into a single group. On top of it, these functions are going to be applied. But in real time, so nobody is going to use the entire table data set as a single group. Okay, so they will be forming the groups based on certain columns. Okay, so for example, so we have a Dell company. Okay, so every day, every minute, okay, every day, every minute, in every store, people will be keep purchasing laptops and laptop accessories, right? Every day. So in whichever the shop it is going to be. So every day that number of transactions are going to be happen. So end of the day, how many number of units have been sold that we wanted to see? What we should do? We have to sum all the transactions, what all the units which are sold today. Okay. And every day the same data will be keep loading into the same table. So now there will be a date filter. Sorry, there will be a date field in the table which is going to tell us, so this record is belonging to which date. This record got inserted on which date. Okay. Now when we do group by and date, we will get to know, when we do group by and date, we will get to know for every day total number of sales or total number of units sold. Okay, total amount received, because there will be hundreds of transactions. We are summing up based on the date. So the date that we have to keep it in the group by class. So whatever the column that we are going to keep it on the group by class, it is going to form group based on the columns which are defined in the group by class. Okay. Now there will be different store. Even for every store, how many units that we wanted to sold, we have to keep the date, comma, store name. so that the group will be formed based on store name and the date value. Now we wanted to know in every product, sorry, in in every store, there will be different type of products. Okay, different models of laptops. Now each model, how many sales, how many units sold at the model level. Then we have to keep model name, store name, and date name. So this is again as per the requirement. I'm just telling in a real-time scenario. Okay. So as per the requirement, we will have to define the number of columns in the group by class. So whatever the columns that we are going to define in the group by class, so on top of those columns where we will be applying this sum, max, min, average, and count functions.
Master,
Yeah.
one doubt. In real time, they only mentioned whatever
Yes.
the columns required
Yes.
for
Yes.
group by,
They will
right?
tell us the requirement. They will tell us the
Okay.
requirement. So I have
Based,
a table. In this table, I have a column. Okay.
yeah.
Let's say number of units sold column. Okay. Now I wanted to populate the in source table, we'll be having the raw data. Okay.
Yeah.
Every day, how many transactions, the list of all the transactions information is there in my source table. Now in the target table, I have a number of units sold at model level, store level, and date level. So we'll be having these three columns. Now business says that number of units sold in the store per day per model. Okay. So they will be mentioning that. So each and every column, like how we have to populate the values. Now we have to understand. So this particular column, I wanted to populate the value like this. So I have to group by on these three columns so that I will be on top of these three columns, the group will be formed, and every group, whatever the sum, max, min, count, average values are coming up. So those values we can set it to the column.
Based on that scenario, we have to apply that functions also, right?
Yes, we have to apply the function. See number of units. So maximum number of units or total minimum sales. Okay, or average sales. Okay. So total or number of means we have to go with. Come on. Okay. So this is something that we have to understand as per the requirement. See, sum of sales, total number of units. Sum of sales means we have to use this sum. Total number of units means we have to use count, right? So accordingly, we will have to use. Okay. So whatever the value that we are going to, whatever the requirement that we have for that requirement, which function is going to match is what we have to understand. So in order to understand that, first we should know what is the functionality of all these functions, how each function is going to work. When we know how each function is going to work, so then only we'll be able to understand where we have to apply this function, right? What is happening in this one? What is happening to this one?
Shall I move on to these group functions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so the next concept is group functions. Okay, so till now, row level functions, till now, date functions or string functions or numeric functions. So each and every function is working for every row, is applying for every row. So that's why we will call them as row level functions, right? Next, we have group level functions. So these group level functions, is going to be executed based on a group, So this group level, whenever we are going to use these group level functions, so those will be first prepare groups. On top of the group, this function is going to execute. Okay, so sum, max, min, average, count. So these are the 5 functions which comes under group functions: sum, max, min, average, and count. So these are the 5 functions will come under group functions. How are we going to use this group function? So whenever you see this group level function, or whenever you wanted to apply this group level functions, so there is a certain syntax that you have to follow. The syntax is, you should have a group by class in the select statement. You should have a group by class in the select statement. So when you have group by class in the select statement, so first, based on the columns what you are going to specify in the group by class, so those many number of groups are going to be formed. On top of the group, on top of every group, these group level functions will execute. For each group, it is going to give one record. One group may have thousands of records, but still we are going to get only one record per group. Okay, now I have this customers table. Let me delete all these queries. I have this customers table. So in this customers table, let's say I have, let me take one field, this min tools. Project comma min tools. Let us assume that I have these 2 fields in this table. So there are every projects. There are many projects that I have, but the same projects also there. Now, when I wanted to apply these group level functions, okay, for suppose I wanted to get the sum of these min tools. Select. So for each project, what is the sum of min tools? Project comma sum of min tool. Min tools is one of the field. Customers. Since I'm using this sum as a group level function, I have to use group by. Now we have to get it out. What are the columns that we are going to keep it in the group by? So what are the columns that you have in the select statement apart from the group level function? So you need to specify only those columns. You need to specify only those columns. Or vice versa. So whatever the columns that we are keeping in the group by class, only those columns that we can keep in the select statement. So if I try to keep user ID here, which is not there in the group by class, it will throw an error stating that it's not a group by expression. It is not a group by expression. So we have to make sure the columns what we are using in the select statement must be there in the group by class. Now, what is the column that you have to keep in the group by class that is as per our requirement? On which column basis where we are looking for this, where we have to apply this group level function? Accordingly, we will have to take a decision. So accordingly, we are going to keep how many number of columns that we have to keep in the group by class. Now what it is going to happen? there are 19 groups, but 2000 plus records. There are 19 projects. So these 19 projects are having 2000 plus records in this table. Okay. Now for each project, it is going to form a group. So how it is going to work is something like this. This is a table. This table is having data. So in this table data, when we are applying any group by class, so based on this column combination, it is going to form a group. It is going to form a group. So for each group, this group level function will be applied. Groups will be formed, and for each group, this group level function will be applied. Some max also we can apply, max of min tools. And we can apply min of. So like this, we can apply these group level functions. Any function, sum, max, min, average, count. So all of them that we can, what is the max value is this, the min value is this. And then sum, max, min, count of min tools. How many number of records are there? If I do sum of this, total sum of this one will be total number of records in the table. So this count group by project, for each project, how many number of records are there? For each project, how many number of records are there? So that we will understand. So we can put group by on, group by count. Or if you wanted to get to know total count of the table, total how many number of records are there, I don't want to any group by. If I am not going to keep any group by, so it will apply on top of a single table. It will consider the entire table as a single group. Okay, it is going to consider if we are not going to apply any group function, group by class, if we are not going to specify any group by class, it will consider the entire table set is a single group. So from each group, always we are going to get one row only. Okay. So when we are going to apply a group by class, so groups will be splitted, and for each group on one record we will get it. When we are not going to apply any group by class, still we are using group level function, then the entire table set is going to form a single group. On top of the single group, we are going to get one record. Now select cursor from table. How many number of records are there in this table? Okay. Any questions? Anyone having any questions? Okay. Or if I put sum of min tools, we'll get the entire sum of the complete data. Okay, because this is, I have a direct table here. when you have to practice. So you have a table, you have some duplicated data, and try to use these group level functions so that you will understand how we are going to apply these group level functions. So sum, max, min, average. Now okay, having class, group by and having. So when we wanted to apply a filter condition, usually we are going to use where class. So when we wanted to apply a filter condition based on a group level function result. Okay, when we wanted to put a filter condition based on a group level function result, then we are going to use this having class. So having class must be at the end of the select statement or after the group by class. So one of the very good example is how do we identify duplicate values in a table. This is one of the very important interview question, very important. In almost if you take 10 interviews, 9 interviews, you'll be having this question. How do we take duplicate data from a table? Because in real time, so we will have to validate this data. We will have to execute this query very regularly in order to identify is there any duplicate data has been loaded in the table or not. Because ideally, there should not be any duplicates loaded. So we need to make sure whenever we do any ETL runs, we need to make sure the data is not getting duplicated in the target table. So how are we going to check whether the data is being duplicated in the target table or not? Okay, so then for that, common syntax is, how do we find duplicate data from a table? The common syntax is select count star from table, group by, on which column combination where we are looking whether the duplicates have been loaded or not. For suppose user ID, group by user ID having count star greater than 1. What it is going to do? So for each user, it is going, this group by class will form a group. On top of this group, it is going to form the select statement is going to give the count. Once the select, based on the select statement is giving the count, this having count star greater than 1 is going to execute. So for every record, if count is greater than 1 or not, it is going to identify. If count is greater than 1, then it is a duplicated data. So for each user, how many records are there? 20, 18, 9, 37. For each user ID, we can take this user ID also here. So for this user, this many duplicates are there. Now let me add a project also. And user and project combination, how many duplicates that I have? So for this user and combination, I have 15 records. Okay, it is going to give only greater than 1 records. Or if I wanted only the unique records. So which all the users are having only 1 record in the table? Then we can use having count star equal to 1. Or which are the employees who are having only 2 records in the entire user and group combination. So group by user and project combination, where I have where count equal to 2. So it is giving 2 records. Okay, so this is how group functions are going to work. Now, order of execution. Let's say if you have a select statement, the select statement is having group by, having order by, and a where class. Okay, so first what it is going to execute. Let's say I have a query something like this. So the order of execution that we should understand, that is very important part. Okay, when we have a select statement with where employee equal to 1, let's say I have where class, I have group by, I have having order. So if we have this type of select statements, which thing that first it is going to execute. Suppose the where clause will execute, it will filter out the data based on this condition. On top of it, this group by clause will execute, and it will give us the values for the group level functions. Then the having clause will execute, it will filter out the data as per the having clause condition. On top of it, the order by clause will execute to give the data in ascending or descending order. Okay. This is how the order of execution. Groups, post groups. So here I don't have any where clause. That's why post groups will be formed and calculate the group functions and choose and eliminate the groups based on the having clause, and then get the data in sorting order, either ascending or descending order. And so today we will discuss about analytical functions. So these basically these analytical functions, right? So one second. Okay. So these analytical functions. So this will try to execute by forming a groups, but it will give the result for every individual row. Okay, but they are not actually group level functions or aggregate functions. Okay, so what are the analytical functions? They are rank, dense rank, lead, lag, and distract. So these are the 5 functions where we will call them as analytical functions. Okay, so these analytical functions will be used in real time almost every day. Okay, so this is also one of the very important concept where you have to understand. And for interviews, right, for every interview this question will be there. For every interview this question will be there, because this is going to be little people will feel like this is little tricky, but this is not actually. Okay, because this is a very simple concept, but people will get difficult to remember the concept. Okay, so what are those functions? Rank, dense rank, as I told. Now how these functions are going to work? So as I told, right, so these functions will form a groups, and on top of the group, for each and every row the result will be get applied. So hence this we will call them as analytical functions. Okay, now what are those? How each function is going to execute? Okay, rank, dense rank, lead, lag, and list tag. Now the rank function is going to give us sequential, non-sequential ranking. Okay, so as like in group by class. So if you are not going to keep any group by class and if you try to apply any group level function, it is going to consider the entire table set as a single group, right? So in the same way, so the rank function also, like we will be having a partition by class. Okay, so in order to apply this analytical functions where we have partition by class, when we have partition by class, when we use partition by class, it will act as a, each partition will act as a separate group. If you don't use any partition by class, then it will take the entire data set as a, it will take the entire data set as a single group or single partition. Okay, now each function, each built-in function is having one kind of functionalities. Okay, so rank function is going to give us non-sequential ranking. Okay, how this rank function is going to execute and what is the syntax of rank function? Okay, so let's start from student table. Let me have a few rows in the student table. Okay, now this is how we have data in our table. This is our student table. In our student table, there are 5 records. Now we wanted to see who is first rank. Okay, who is first rank or who is having top marks? Who is having top marks? How will we understand? So we have to apply a rank function. So this rank function is going to help us by giving the ranks. According to the rank, we will understand. So who is having top marks as rank 1, who is having less marks as rank 2. And then the ranking will go on. Okay, now marks. So how do we apply rank function? So the syntax for rank function is rank, bracket open close, over order by on which column combination where we wanted rank to be applied. Okay, now I wanted rank based on marks descending order means, so which marks we should get in which should be the top mark. Okay, so the maximum mark should be the top and least mark should be the bottom, right? So order by marks descending. When I'm going to put what this rank function is going to do, so first the entire table set, it is going to form a single group or single partition on top of it. So it is going to give the ranking based on marks descending. Okay, so as I told, rank function is going to give us non-sequential ranking. Rank function is going to give us non-sequential ranking. When rank function is going to give us non-sequential ranking, so this is how the ranking is going to come. So whenever any rank is getting duplicated, so the ranks will get repeated. How many number of ranks are repeated? So those many values it will be get skipped. Now here if you see rank 1 1, okay, rank is repeated once. So since rank 1 is repeated once, so number 2 is skipped. If we have one more number rank, if you see here 3 3 and 3 is repeated twice, right? So when 3 is repeated twice, so one rank is skipped. Okay, there is Ideally, it is supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, since in place of 2, 1 is coming, because of that 2 is skipped. In place of 4, 3 is coming because they are having the same marks. Since it is having the same marks, same rank is coming. So if same rank is coming, if values are getting repeated, so how many values are getting repeated, those many ranks will get skipped. So that we will call it as rank function. That's why rank function we will say it is going to give us non-sequential ranking. Okay, now we do also have dense rank. Okay, so this dense rank function is going to give us sequential ranking irrespective of the duplicates. Irrespective of the duplicates, it is going to give us sequential ranking. Here you can see the difference. So when we use this is rank, this is dense rank. Okay, so rank function is going to give us non-sequential ranking where ranks will be skipped. Sequential ranking will be dense rank is going to give us the sequential ranking irrespective of whether how many times the same value is getting repeated. It will give us the sequential ranking. This is the difference between rank and dense rank. So according to our requirements, we can use these functions. Let's say I have added one more record. Okay, now just to see the difference. See 90 repeated 3 times. Okay, 3, 3, 3. So rank is repeated 3 times. The same rank is repeated 3 times. Because of that, in place of 4, in place of 5, rank 3 is repeated. So that's where rank 6 is coming. Okay, but in case of dense rank 1, 2, 3. How many times the same rank is getting repeated doesn't matter for dense rank. It is going to give us the sequential ranking. Okay. Okay, any questions in rank and dense rank? Anyone having any question?
No questions.
Others? Anybody having any other question? Any questions? No question? Then we'll go for rank, dense rank, lead lag functions. Okay, so these two lead lag functions, right? So this will rarely use in real time. Okay, but for every interview, people will be asking this question. Okay, so this lead lag function. So for every interview, people will be asking the questions. But in real time, we'll be using very rarely because getting these kind of scenarios are very rare. Even if we get also, we can accommodate this with the Informatica. Okay, we will not go with the SQL functions, but having knowledge of these SQL functions is going to help us for interviews. Okay, so this lead function, the lead function is going to get the next row value, previous row, sorry, lead function is going to get next row value in the current row. So whenever we wanted the next row value, whatever is there, that I should get in the current row itself. Then we can use this lead function. Lag function is basically when we wanted to get previous row value in the current row. Previous row value in the current row. So that's why we can use lat function. So lead function, current row, sorry, previous next row value in the current row, and lag function, previous row value in the current row. Now I'll execute this functions. I'll just show you the result. I'll explain the syntax also. Okay, so the lead function syntax is lead of the column on which we are looking. The next row value should come into the current row. Okay, so lead of what the syntax is, what is the column that we wanted to use to get the next row value in the current row, and starting from which position. And for the last record, there will not be any next row, right? For the last record, there will not be any next row. So that's why what is the value that I have to populate for the last row. So this one is basically I wanted immediate next row, or second immediate next row, or third immediate next row. Okay, so when we are going to keep 1, then it is going to give us immediate next row. When we are going to keep 2, immediate 2 rows after the value. So if you see here, the first rank order by marks descending. When I am going to give marks descending, so 100 is the top value which is going to come on the top, and 80 is the least value which is going under the bottom. Now how many records that I have with 100? 100, 100. Okay, so for this current row, this is the first record. For the first row, when we are going to use this lead function, we are going to get the next row value in the current row. Next row value is 100 that I am getting in the current row itself. So for this 100, the next row is 90, so that we are getting in the current row itself. For this record, the next row value is 19 that we are getting in the current record. So always we are going to get the next row value in the current row. Always we are going to get next row value in the current row. So lag function. So if you see here, right, why I'm getting immediate next row? Because I put 1 here. So in the lead function syntax, I put 1. So since I put 1, the next row value is coming in the current row. The next row value is coming in the current row. When I'm going to put 2 here, then I'm going to put 2 here. So 2 rows after the value. For 100, what is the 2 rows after value is 90 that I'm getting here. For this 100 after the 2 rows value, what is the value is 90. For this 90 after 2 rows, what is the value? This is. After 2 rows, this value. For this value, immediate second row value is 80. For last 2 rows, we don't have any immediate second next row. That's why 0, 0. So why it is coming as 0? Here we are passing as 0, 0. So instead of 0, if I put minus 999, for the last records where we don't have any next values, for them we are going to get minus 999. Understood, guys? The syntax understood? So lead function we are going to use to get next row value in the current row. Understood? Anybody having any questions? Yes, please, if you don't understand, please do let me know. Okay. Okay, so now the lag function. So the lead function is going to give us next row value in the current row, and the lag function is going to give us previous row value in the current row. For the marks column. Okay. This is the marks next. This is the marks previous. Okay, when I'm going to put marks 1, lag of marks 1. Okay, when I'm going to put lag of marks 1, so immediate previous row it is going to look for 100. Immediate previous row we don't have, that's why minus 999 is coming. For this 100, what is immediate previous row is 100, so we are getting 100. Okay, so for 90, what is the immediate previous row is 100, so we are getting 100. For this 90, what is immediate previous row is 90, so we are getting 90. So when I'm going to put 2, we are going to get immediate second row. For this 100, do we have any immediate second row, previous second row? No. For this record, do we have any previous immediate second row? No. For this record, do we have any previous second row? 1, 2. We have previous second row, so we are getting 100. For this record, do we have any previous second row? Yes, we have this 100. For this record, do we have previous second row? This record, yes. For this record, do we have previous second row? This record. So like this, immediate previous second row, we are going to get it. So lag function is going to give us previous row, and lead function is going to give us immediate next row. Okay, any questions? What is rank, dense rank, lead, lag functions? Anyone having any questions? Understood clearly? Lead, lag,
Yes.
rank, dense rank. Okay, if no other questions, and the next function is list tag function. Okay, basically this list tag function you will not be able to practice in your system. Okay, because this list tag function is going to support from Oracle 11G version. Now currently in our databases where we are using Oracle 10G version. So since we are using Oracle 10G, so this list tag function is not supported. But in real time, current version is 19C. The latest version is 19C or 21C. That currently. So this function will work in real time. Okay, but having knowledge of this function is very important. Okay, but this function also will use very rarely in real time. But having knowledge in this function is also important. Okay, so what this list tag function is going to do is, this list tag function is going to form a group. From each group, it is going to give only one record with all as comma separated values. If you see this example, where we have the data employee data for departments, okay, 20, 30, 30, 20, 20, 30, like that. Now for each department, I wanted to get all the employees with all the employee names with comma separated values. Okay, all the values with comma separated means we can use this list tag function. So it is going to form a group based on the it is going to form a group based on the department number, and within this group it is going to order the employee name, and it will give us the data. So the output will be coming like this. Okay, for each department, we'll be getting one record by okay 10 all the employees, 20 all the employees, department number 30 all the employees. So here, so this stack function is going to get for each department, we are going to get all the so this is how the list tag function is going to work. So the syntax of this list tag function is list tag, what is the column that we wanted and what is the separator that we wanted, what is the separator that that we have to, and group by which column on which column where we wanted to form a groups, and within this group and how we have to get the data, employee data in ordering, ascending order or descending order. Okay, so since we are not able to practice, yeah, let us just have this scenario in mind. Okay. So that when people are going to ask in interviews, then it will be easy for us. It will be easy for you to understand. Okay, any questions? This list tag function, it is going to list tag function, basically it is going to concat all the values within the group. It is going to form a group. From that group, it is going to concat all the values with a separator, and it will give us for each group one record. Okay. Now in the same concept, we do also have partition by clause, as I told, right? So when we are not going to use partition by clause, it is going to consider, the select statement will consider that entire group as a single partition, entire group as single partition. But when we say partition by, when we use partition by clause, then it is going to form each group as one partition. In that group, it is going to give us the ranking. Okay, so for that example, let us use the customer table. Okay, so in the customers table, where we have user ID, project, date field from customers. Now let me apply rank function. So rank of by using partition by, how we have to use partition by, let's say, project. So for each project, I wanted one group and order by date field, order by date field descending. So now what it's going to do, each project is going to form a group. For every group, it is going to give us the ranking based on the date field descending.
As customer hyphen date field.
Okay, so for each, it is going to form one group. For each group which is having same date field, it is giving rank 1 1 1 1 2 3. So ideally we are supposed to get 2 3 here. So since 2 3 is repeat, like 1 is repeated 2 times, 2 ranks skipped. Now 5 5 5 5 is repeated 3 times extra, so that's why 3 ranks skipped. 6 7 8 are skipped. Now we are getting 9. You see, 9 9 9 repeated 4 times, that means 9 repeated 3 times extra, so 3 more ranks skipped. 10 11 12 is skipped. 13. So this is the dense rank function is going to give us, is going to skip the ranks like this. Okay, now for BE casual it is rank. Again, when we are going to see other DE collection, again the rank is started. When we have BR and SO, it is going to form one partition. For this partition, it is giving the ranks. Again, whenever for every partition, it is going to give us the ranking. When we use partition by class, it is going to form each group as one partition. In that partition, it is going to give us the ranking. If you see here, right? So this rank is repeated 5 times. That's why 5 ranks are skipped. So the value is coming as 7. Okay. So this is how the partition class is going to work. So when we use dense rank, so ranks, how many, irrespective of number of ranks are getting repeated, it is going to give us a sequential ranking. So for every partition, the ranks will be coming up. For every partition, ranks will be coming up. So this is the difference between with partition by class and without partition by class. When we use with partition by class, so for every partition, it is going to form a group. For every group, it is going to give us the ranking. Okay. So this is how partition by class is going to. So one of the very, very important interview question is, how do we get maximum salary of a employee? Alright. So or how do we get the top rank student in a student table? I wanted only the top mark. Who is having top mark? That is I wanted. How do we get it? So when we use like this, when we use rank function, we are going to get all the records. But I wanted only the top mark person. I don't want any other people. Okay, for that what we have to do? We have to use like this. First we will have to form one SQL statement which is going to give us this result. On top of it, we have to write one more select statement. Select star from bracket open. So inside the bracket, we have to keep the select statement. We have bracket close, and we have to give alias name to this, the select statement. Now this select statement is going to act as a table. The result of the select statement is going to act as a table where student rank equal to 1. So first the inside select statement will execute. So inside select statement will execute. On top of it, the outside select statement will execute, and where this filter will be applied. So we are going to get only rank equal to 1 because I applied a filter where rank equal to 1. So this is how we are going to get. How are we going to get nth maximum rank, nth maximum rank or nth maximum salary, usually people says. N means the number can be anything. So we have to prepare a query. As and when we are keeping the number, we have to get that rank. Let's say I'm going to put rank as 3. I wanted to get only rank as 3. Only rank as 3. When I'm going to put rank as 2, I'm going to get, I don't have anything because I'm using this rank function. So this rank function is not going to give sequential ranking. Sorry, yeah, it's not going to give sequential ranking. It will give only non-sequential. So this is one of the disadvantage when we are going to identify these kind of filters, because there are chances that the ranks will be get skipped. So that's why we should go with, when we are trying to apply this thing, we have to go with dense rank. So this is also one of the interview cross question. What will happen if you are going to use rank, or what will happen if you are going to use dense rank? So we are getting 2, because so when we are going to use rank function, those ranks get skipped. In order to avoid that, we were going with dense rank. So similar case we have to apply here also. How do we get nth maximum salary, or how do we get the top rank from each partition? So that's what we have to do. So let's start from, we have to prepare a statement where rnk equal to 1. So we are going to get for every department only the top ranks we are going to get. So when we say rank equal to 20, so which all the records are having rank as 20, we will be getting only those ranks. See, for every partition there is a rank 20. This is another partition which is having rank 20. This is another partition which is having rank 20. So like this, for every partition we are going to get. How do we get nth maximum salary? This is the one. How do we get nth maximum salary for each department? You have to use partition by class. This is the difference. Okay, any questions? Anyone having any questions? Yes. So Vishwa, Vaishnavi, Sai, Raj, Rahul. Anybody? Any questions? No? Let's say yes or no. Do you have any questions or not?
No questions.
Everything is clearly understood, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is about analytical functions. Okay, so the next one is